Hey, what's going on, everybody? Andrew here, back for our build review show. It is Monday, December 30th of 2024. And on this show, I bring users builds up live on stream, giving them personalized feedback and advice about things I think that they can do differently in their builds to help them build stronger lineups, submit stronger lineups into their contests, and improve their post-contest sim ROIs. So we do this show Mondays and Fridays at 5 p.m. Eastern. If you ever want to get signed up for a show, all you need to do is drop your DK username in the Office Hours channel. Let me know what sport and slate you want me to review, and I will add you to the list for the next show. But with that said, today we have 3 reviews on deck here. The first one is going to be a NFL main slate review for Jay Purdy, and then we will get to some Sunday Night Football Showdown reviews as well. So it should be a fun one. Let's jump right in. Gonna get SaberSim pulled up here. I have Purdy already up, so we're gonna jump over to the contest tab. We're looking at their main slate first here. Now, what do we see in their main slate, right? Let's start with contest selection. Contest selection looks so this all looks great here. Let's jump into one of these contests and review their results. Let's try looking at the mini-max here. Should load. Just got to give it a second probably. And maybe if we open up lineups. Cool. So this looks good. All right, we're going to try and review a different contest. Maybe the first down here. Let's let this one load. Okay, it looks like the first down loaded correctly this time. So we're going to review this. Now what we want to do is look at people who enter 24.71% positive sim ROI. It's a good start. Highest sim ROIs in the contest, somewhere in like the 80 to 90% range. So good start. There is some room for improvement here. Now, what do we notice most? So using 49.1 salary, so a little bit lower here compared to some of the other lineups, 49.9s, 49.8s. So a little low on salary. I'm not like 100% sure why. Interestingly enough, dupes is like pretty prevalent in this contest here for some reason, anywhere from 6, 2, 8, 11, 9, 8, 0, kind of all over the place in like the 1 to 10 dupe range here. So pretty interesting. It was a smaller NFL main slate with only 8 games on the slate. Purdy has 18 uniques and 140.97 sim average score. Generally, it's okay to be lower sim average score if you're getting lower duplication. However, I think the sim average score is just a little bit too low. We could go and find somebody with similar metrics, right? We have this Will Lock 729 person, 0 dupes, 18 uniques, 20 under 5, which is exactly what Purdy has. But notice that their sim average score is 144.36 compared to 140.97, which was their sim average score. So about a 3.5 point difference here, where we always say, it's okay to be on a spectrum and not be the highest projected score, but you gotta have a good floor. And it looks like the floor is just a little too low here. So we're gonna jump into their build and figure out why their salary is lower, why their sim average score is a little bit lower, and make some determinations from there. But that's what we're seeing so far. Looks like they did do a late swap, which is good, right? Very important to do a late swap for that afternoon window for any account for any significant projection changes, anything like that. So nice to see the late swap. Let's jump into their pre-slate build. Looks like these items were run 18 minutes prior to lock, so that's good. Getting all those adjustments to projections, for inactives, things like that. Okay, so what do we see? So default lineups, default minimax salary, no filters, no rules, autofill, unique rank, large slate saber score, no min exposures in all, none in quarterback, none in defense, none in games, teams, stacks, none in running backs or receivers or tight ends. So pretty hands-off build here, all things considered. So it doesn't look like they actually did that much in the build. Okay, so what adjustments can we make to help here, right? Okay, so first thing is typically that salary and projection are typically correlated, right? So what I would first start by doing is increasing my minimum salary, right? If you go from 47,000 up to 49,000, that could be honestly a really good start, right? So increase the floor for your minimum salary, number one. Number two thing I would probably do is, so this saber score, right? Large slate 10 to 50K, high to low. The 10 to 50K indicates the number of entrants in the contest that you're optimizing for. So all these contests, at least these like first three that I'm looking at, right? The play action, the mini max, the first down, all of these have entrants in the hundreds of thousands. So what I would do is I would switch this, or at least these contests, right? You could be contest specific here, is go into this rank by column and then switch these to the bigger one, right? Switch it to 50K. Switch this one to 50K, right? For the single entry, like what's probably easier to do is like go to your contest page and then just like take a screenshot of this, right? So like on Windows, it's the Windows button Shift S. So it'd be like this. Okay, I grab a screenshot. It's going to look like this, right? And then I either have it up on the same tab, or if you have more than one monitor, bring it up on like your second monitor. And then in your build, go through here and be like, okay, first down has 50K plus. The $3 single entry has 11,000 entrants. Okay, this is perfect, right? And then you go and find like a smaller one. So what's the triple option has 7,900 entries. So then you go to Saber Score, you go to 1K to 10K, right? I would actually try and be contest specific with the entrants for all of my Saber scores. Okay. So this is just help to get them a little bit more specific. I get them a little bit more aligned for the contest that you're putting them into. So my two big adjustments here are going to be updating your Saber scores. It is good. You're sorting by prize pool, so that's good. So updating the Saber scores, increasing the minimum salary, give those things a shot and see if that helps. But 25% sim ROI is a strong start. We just need to start making some minor tweaks and minor adjustments to help you get to better lineups. So I would honestly just start with those two and see how it goes. All right. Good stuff there. Purdy also asked us to review their Atlanta-Washington showdown here. So we're going to do that. So we're going to jump right over to their showdown. And we're going to go to the contest tab. All right. Again, good, solid contest selection. Very happy with this. We're going to pull up their mini-max. And we'll let this load. All right. Close these other tabs. Go over to users. All right. Data is loading. Great. So 150 entries. So we're going to put 150. I'm going to reset these. We're going to sort by sim ROI. And then we're going to get rid of any trains here. So less than 145 should be good. Okay, cool. So highest sim ROIs, somewhere above 20%, if you ask me. And Purdy's is sitting at 16%. So this is a good set of lineups. Okay. So I don't want you to be discouraged here. This is a good, strong start. Okay. So what do we see, right? we see 49.3 average salary, which we see other sets like that. See 42 average dupes, which is fine. Dupes are always on a spectrum. See 84.65 sim average score. So this looks good, right? Because if we go and find a set of lineups similar to yours, 42 dupes, this person has 45 dupes, and they have a higher sim average score. Interesting that they actually have a lower sim average score, but about the same dupes. And then we see somebody else, this Vikings guy, with about the same sim average score as you, but less dupes, right? So, if I was grading out with 16% sim ROI and I came in here and I looked at these results, I'd be pretty happy with that. You're still like a top 20, top 25 sim ROI here. And I think that's a really good range to be in. Okay. So let's go and look in their build and see what kind of decisions they made to get to this point. But I'd say that, they're definitely on the right track here. All right. 500 lineups, default minimax salary, no filters, no rules, couple projection adjustments. I think these are more like opinion based, and I think they're fine, right? Small adjustments, guiding the builder in the direction that they want to go. No exposures in the captain, no exposures in the flex. And this seems good to me, right? So somehow, some way adding value to projections. And, like, hey, they bumped Zacchaeus. Zacchaeus had a great game. You know what I mean? So like that's like a nice adjustment. Adjusted Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts had a really good game, right? Taking a shot like on a low owned Washington wide receiver with De'Ami Brown out, right? Like it makes a little bit of sense, right? Bumps Crowder maybe for De'Ami Brown as well. Thinks that production is going to go up more than we're projecting. So a lot of these things make sense. They're small. They're just kind of pushing the builder a little bit. I like not being so overly aggressive. So I think this is all really good stuff. All right. Using autofill, single game saber score, perfect. For these, I would stick with single game saber score for all of them. I wouldn't be using some different saber score for different contest sizes since it's showdown. So it's because I specifically talked about that on the last review. I did want to mention that on this one, but I think it's good. Again, starting my prize pool, using unique rank, all of this stuff looks really, really good to me. So I would say that for showdown, I think you're doing a lot of the right things here. I wouldn't really change much of what you're doing and keep at it. But this is a nice, solid process. Remember, this person's on starter plan. And look at their sim ROIs, right? They're grading out really well. Good, solid process, adding value. I think this is an awesome approach for somebody trying to build a bankroll. All right. Good stuff there. We do have one other person who wants to review Atlanta and Washington as well, which is great. Gives us somebody to compare lineups against here. So this one is going to be RB1 Smitty, and they are on starter as well. So we're going to see how they're grading out. So let me get this up on the screen, and we'll jump back to NFL Showdown review. All right. All right, bringing Saberson back up now. Going to go to the contest tab. Okay, so we see balance, single entries, 3 maxes. We see some satellites. I think this is all great. Like the contest selection here. Now, let's go and review one of these contests. So didn't play the mini max. That's okay. We're going to review the quarter jukebox here. And we'll review it as soon as this loads. Okay, go over to users. RB1 Smitty, 20 lineups, sort by sim ROI. I'm going to remove super high average dupes. Maybe anything over 100. All right. So positive 4% sim ROI. Highest sim ROIs here, like somewhere in like the 35 to 40% plus range here. So definitely some room for improvement. So 18 average dupes, 3 uniques, 11 under 5, 85.77 sim average score. So if we go and find somebody with similar metrics, right? 18 dupes. So this is like a little interesting, right? We see somebody with 11 this person with 11 average dupes, which is lower than the 18, is still like 2 points higher on the sim average score side. So if Smitty wants to play like 85 sim average score, that's fine, but they're going to need to be like sub 5 average dupes, right? Like we see a person with 9 average dupes with 86.5 is still like a point projected higher. So they're going to have to be pretty low, right? So either sim average score has got to come up or average dupes has to go down. This is kind of where we're at right now. But let's jump into one of these builds. Where did these come from? So it looks like they did different builds for different sets, right? So it looks like they did like some satellites in main 1, maybe some smaller sized contests. All these prize pools a little bit smaller in main 2, and then build 3 was like some of these bigger type of contests. So I'm going to go to build 3 here, since these are like the bigger ones. So what do we see? So 20 lineups. That's interesting. Oh, so Smitty's running optimizer mode here. Is this the one where the quarter? I want to review whatever came from the quarter, actually. Okay, main 2 came from the quarter. So let's go to main 2. Okay, let's remove some filters. All right. So what do we see? So we see 500 lineups, 45K min, 49.7 max. I think this is a fine way of helping yourself with uniqueness. We see a filter for show players with salary greater than. Okay, so that's another way of saying show players who are like projected. I think that's like probably fine. Rules, 1 rule, geo mean rule. Okay, I think this is fine as well. Trying to get some duplication. That's probably why they had an 18 average dupes, which is like on the lower side of the spectrum. Okay, let's look at captain exposures. No min or maxes here. No min or max in the flex. I can't tell if they adjusted this or not. Some small projection adjustments, pretty minor here. So pretty hands off, right? I think maybe what's happening here, which this does happen, so it's important to be aware of this. Sometimes when you do a geo mean rule, it can have a bigger effect on your projections, on your average projection than you would like. What I would probably recommend is trying to balance the geo mean rule with a projection filter. Okay, so what I would do is I would come in here and I would add a filter, and then I would say something where like trash the bottom 10 to 20% of my projected lineups, right? So trying to cut out the lowest projected lineups to ultimately raise the mean of the rest of your pool, right? So, you know, your projection really wasn't that far off here, and you're already accounting for duplication. So I think that we just need to find a balance there. So like we've done examples where it's like, okay, this is like my default build. When I add a geo mean filter or rule, my average projection comes down 3 points. But then when I add a projection filter to counterbalance that, my projection comes back up 1.5 points, right? So you get that like that balance. You get that 1.5 points projection back, which we can see is super important, right? Even if, you know, here you were off like 2 point projection, if we get 1.5 back or something like that, that's going to get us a lot closer to where we want to be. So I think that you're doing a lot of the right things, and I think that we just need to balance the duplication. So I see you accounting for duplication with salary, see you accounting for it with a rule here. I think that we just need to do something for projection, and I think that that will help significantly here. So try that on even tonight's showdown. Let me know how it goes and review your results tomorrow. So good stuff there. But again, not a ton to talk about here. Pretty hands off. And I think some minor tweaks, small adjustments will go a long way. But that was our 2 people, 3 reviews in total here who signed up for the show. Reminder, if anybody ever wants to get signed up for a show, all you need to do is drop your DK username in the Office Hours channel. Let me know what sport and slate you want me to review, and I'll add you to the list for the next show, which is going to be Friday, first show of the new year. So appreciate everybody tuning in. I will see you all tomorrow for Office Hours. And until then, take care. Good luck. Thanks. Bye.